on.
Hello, happy Christmas Eve. I am going to show you how to make a Christingle. Now if you're in church you would have been given one of these packs and an orange. If you're at home you may have received an email from me suggesting some things that you'd like to collect, but the things that you need basically are an orange, and if you're in church we've already cut a little cross shape in the top of it. It's not symbolic, it's just practical. So if you just use a knife to cut a little way in, make a cross shape. You'll need a small candle. You could always use a birthday cake candle if you haven't got one that looks like this, or a larger one if necessary. A piece of red ribbon, or perhaps a strip of red paper if you haven't got red ribbon. 4 cocktail sticks. Some sweets. I've got a packet of Dolly mixtures here, that's what's in the church packs. You don't have to have these, but they make it smell nice. I've got some cloves. I have also got, and I forgot to list this when I told you what to gather, I've got a couple of sticky dots, but a bit of sellotape would do. This was just an easy thing to put in the packs. And I've got a little bit of foil. Again, that's optional really, but it's just to go around the base of the candle. It might help to stop it leaking quite so much, or stop the juice falling out so much. Okay, and I've also got a piece of kitchen roll because this does get a little bit messy when you push the candle in. A Christingle is a sort of symbolic way of thinking about the whole gospel in some ways, in the form of a piece of fruit and a few very simple objects. And it also makes a nice Christmassy smell. So it's a lovely thing to make on Christmas Eve, and I hope you will enjoy making them, whether you're at home or in church. It's very easy. The first thing you need to do when you've made the cross shape in your orange is to put a candle into that hole. You have to push it a little bit and some juice might come out, so I've given you the kitchen roll. Okay? And the orange represents the world, nice and round. Okay? That's the earth. And the candle, which goes into the top of it, is Jesus, the light of the world. Light came into the world at Christmas. Then you will want to put your ribbon around the outside of the world. Now the ribbon stands for God's love. I'm going to attach mine using a couple of sticky dots because you'll need something to stick it on. And I'm going to put one sort of part way around the ribbon, halfway along. I'll stick that to one side of the orange there. You see that there? And then my ribbon's actually a little bit longer than it needed to be in some ways. You can either overlap it so you don't see both ends, or you could tie a bow, I suppose, if you wanted to. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to attach that with another sticky dot. Okay? If you haven't used these before, they might seem a bit fiddly, but they're quite clever. Just peel off the white side, press it down onto the ribbon, and then pull off very gently the little bit of plastic. There, and then that's stuck round. And the red ribbon around the middle of the world represents God's love for the world. We often draw hearts in the colour red, don't we? But it also reminds us that God showed his love for the world by shedding his blood for it on the cross to save us. Now this is the fun bit. Okay, you've got some cloves here, and the cloves, all they really do is make it smell nice. But we might remember that actually sometimes we think about our prayers as being sweet smelling incense to God, or we might remember the frankincense that the wise men took as a gift to the baby Jesus, as a sign of frankincense rising up to heaven and the priestly nature of the baby Jesus. So the cloves sort of represent a link between us and the fragrance of heaven. We're going to put a few in round like that. They also look a little bit like a crown of thorns actually, so there's all sorts of things that those cloves could stand for if you've got them. And you can stud them around the bottom as well if you want. I've probably given you too many. Then you've got 4 cocktail sticks, okay? And these represent the 4 corners of the world. Now you might think there's more than 4 corners of the world, but let's think of them as the compass points. North, south, east and west. God's love was for every direction in the world, and we stick them into the 4 corners of the orange sticking outwards. I forgot to put the foil on my candle, didn't I, actually? If you want to do that, you can just wrap it round like that. If you scrunch it a little bit, it will just stop all the wax dripping down the orange as you hold it. Okay? So it's very simple, just like that. Now the final thing are the Dolly mixtures. You could use dried fruit if you wanted to be a little bit healthier. I've got Dolly mixtures here. And you thread those, maybe I should have done this before I put the sticks in, you thread those onto the cocktail sticks, and they represent all the good gifts that God gives us the world over, the fruits of the earth, as it were, the things that he gives us to enjoy, and the things that we might want to say thank you to him for, especially at Christmas. And of course the biggest gift that he gives us is his son, but perhaps you can think of other things. Perhaps you can thank him for all the Christmas food that you're going to be eating, or for your family, whether or not you can be with all of them this year, the way things are. But we remember that even in a time when things seem dark and not as fun as they normally are, God's light shines in every corner of the world. And if we look and think hard enough, we will find the good things that he has provided for us. And they are still there, however hard things seem to be this year. Okay, so I've put 3 dolly mixtures onto each of my cocktail sticks. It's falling off a bit. If they fall off, you'll just have to eat them. There's really nothing else you can do, to be honest. You've probably got too many dolly mixtures in your bag as well, so you'll have to do something with those later as well, won't you? There we go. All right, so you've got 4 corners of the world with the fruits of the earth. And then all there is left to do is to light it.